Hey princess. So you guys know the movie Inside Out and how the main character basically has like a storage unit of all her core memories? Basically, today we're going to be reviewing mine. This is very much what's up?
Oh crap, are you filming?
No, you're good. What's up?
I'm gonna make the cookies later because I'm playing for it.
Okay.
Tonight, I identify as a fat pig. My pronouns are diabetes. And
So story number one. Oh, this story is so painful. Oh my gosh. You guys can easily figure out who this was, unfortunately, but one time I was in LA basically touring this person's like content house. So I was meeting the managers of the house and touring the content warehouse space. This warehouse was very empty and in the process of a renovation, and I was talking to one of the managers because he was showing me around, and this is a business person, so he's a very serious man. I have no idea what came over me to show him my humor so early on. Like, I'm telling you, I just met this guy. So like I said, the warehouse was in the process of a renovation, so we get to this part of the warehouse that is beaten down, broken wood and broken glass. It's essentially like their discard pile, I guess. So just garbage. And I go, oh, is this where I would be staying if I join you guys? And he was like, well, no, we would be putting you up in an apartment.
You cannot be for real. Oh my god, you for real.
I don't know, because my humor is usually how I'm able to connect with people so easily. I guess when you're so deep into business like that, nobody is really pulling out sarcasm in like a business deal, so I get why he didn't understand, but I felt so embarrassed, and that also haunts me. Prior to YouTube, my only jobs were childcare, and I was a waitress for a month. I'm not even. This one year, I volunteered to be a VBS leader. When you volunteer to be a VBS leader, you're basically signing up to watch over a herd of children that you get assigned to. So I was assigned to the 6 to 10-year-old. But the thing is, mind you, there's supposed to be more than one leader assigned to each group. And for some odd reason, all of the other leaders I'm supposed to be working with just left. They just freaking left. And I found out later, actually, that they all just went to get ice cream. I love the invite. So I'm in this church sanctuary. By the way, the entire sanctuary, the entire church is decorated as under the sea animals. So to make matters worse, the environment is like making these kids like cosplay as animals. They're like running around, and lo and freaking behold, this mom rushes through the door with this crying, wailing baby and places this baby in the chair right next to me. Doesn't check the kid in, she just runs in the church and like places it next to me. I'm sorry, I don't mean it, I mean like whatever I don't know. So placing a baby in my 6 to 10-year-old section while I'm watching over all of my other section. I'm trying to tell her, I'm like pointing to the back, I'm like, baby section, back there, like not with me. Do you see these 10-year-old animals? Your child obviously is not up to par. So she turns around and sees the nursery. She just goes and just runs out. She's like, oh, what? Wishing on what, brother? A shooting star? Because I'm wishing on a shooting star as well. I'm wishing on a shooting star, the moon, and the sun. That my team comes back and helps me fend for my life. Oh, and before I continue, I just want to say that I did this with a joyous and happy spirit. I just think it's funny to be over dramatic. I'm still happy that I did it. I would do it again. It was good for the community. I think it's just funny to like be dramatic. And the best part is that I couldn't even get anyone to help me because I have a wailing baby at one side and then I have the freaking Bronx Zoo to my left. At that time, I've never interacted with babies before because I'm one of the youngest in my family, so I never had to like care for babies or interact with them. I just didn't know what to do. And to my luck, the VBS introductions started at the exact same time, so they cut all of the music that was drowning out this baby's wails and cries. Naturally, everyone's attention went to the baby with me next to it. It's dead silent. There's a crying baby next to me. Everyone's looking at me because I'm wearing the freaking staff shirt, and the actual director of the event on stage, she looks dead at me and she's like motioning for me to take the baby and like calm it down, and I'm just sitting there frozen because I didn't know what to do and everyone's just staring at me. So I was literally sitting there like One of the leaders that was actually not even from my group or the nursery stood up and like saw me not knowing what to do, like a freaking deer in the headlights, as my team is having a night on the town, apparently, a freaking ice cream social. I don't took the baby, and I'm so grateful for them to this day, because there would have been 2 crying babies in that sanctuary that night if they didn't.
Shut up and drive.
Okay, this one you actually have to buckle up for, because it's about my driving. I've had 1 real driving lesson before this instance, so don't come at me. Long story short, I did almost cause an accident. It was an accident though, it was a mistake. Like, oh my gosh, can a girl make a mistake? I don't know how to explain it. I was turning right and I didn't see this guy oncoming because there was a car in my way that was turning left. But we had both already stopped before there was a collision. Our cars were at least 10 feet apart. I know that's like not a lot of space, but nothing happened. I didn't even touch him. I was with my dad, so me and my dad were both like just apologizing through the window. We were like, sorry. And this man, he's in his car throwing his hands up. He had his wife or his girlfriend in the passenger seat being like, no, stop, 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 just drive, just drive. So in the brain of a normal, stable, sane person, you almost get into a tiny, skinny mini collision with a teenage girl. Do you A, throw your hands up, get really mad about it, drive away? B, cope? Or C, get out of your car and try to fight? If you guessed A, you're freaking wrong. This man, 3 times my size, gets out of his freaking car looking to fight. I don't know what you guys believe in, but guys should never be hitting women unless it's in self-defense. Then freaking go for it, my brother. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I think everyone should keep their hands to themselves, regardless of gender. I was raised to keep my hands to myself. But as a grown man, you're biologically going to be stronger than me. You have an unfair advantage over women, which is why I don't think men should be fighting any women. Unless it's self-defense, again, then let it fly, my brother. Let it fly. But brother dearest, what were you trying to defend yourself from? I didn't touch your freaking car. You want to fight a girl? You want to fight a fairy princess girl? A harmless fairy princess girl that wears bows in her hair and listens to Taylor Swift? You're trying to tussle with a girl that reads romance books for fun? Oh, that's not... Ooh. So my dad got out of the car and naturally started beating him with a baseball bat. I'm kidding. My dad got out of the car and was like, she just got her permit, sorry. And he's like, oh, okay. Boy, go back in your car and sit down like a good boy. I know I was in the wrong. I'm not trying to justify what I did. I should have not been dense. But again, this was my first time on the real road without an instructor. So yeah, I know I was in the wrong here, but I always try to find little lessons and everything. First of all, I'm never not going to check for oncoming traffic ever again. Rest assured, I'm going to be extremely vigilant whenever I'm on the roads from now on. But more importantly, these are the types of guys that I can't wait to become fathers. Just think about how embarrassed he would have been if it was his grandma or his daughter that was driving that car, you know? This one hurts. So as someone who grew up doing online school, socialization and stuff is typically a pretty big concern for parents. So in order to mitigate that, my parents put us in like every extracurricular under the sun. One of these was an American Girl Doll book club. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear this brought up ever again. I have no idea how my parents even found this. I think it was probably through a mutual friend. So they went to sign me up and they told my parents, sorry, we're almost done with this book. Like, we only have 2 more meetups left. We only have 2 more meetups for the rest of this year, but she's more than welcome to join us if she can keep up. And I said, is that a challenge? Is that a challenge, my good brother? Anytime a teacher or any authority figure has told me, if you can keep up or if you like a challenge, I will do whatever it takes from that point on to prove myself, because I'm a little competitive, I would say. Also, an important note, I hated reading. I was a hands-on visual kid, so I have no idea why I was even entertaining this or why I said yes. And then she tells my mom, also our last meet is a pool party. I didn't know how to swim. So number 1, I didn't like reading. Number 2, I couldn't swim. And number 3, I didn't know anyone there. I love how I just like intruded on their little book club. I was so young, I didn't take into account that there would be cliques already made and people already had their like friend groups, and my little mind just like, prove to her you can keep up. Also, something about me. I'm a work smarter, not harder girl. So what did I do? I watched the American Girl doll movie instead. Kid genius, kid genius. I show up to the first meet and everyone has their American Girl doll books out of a girl named Kit. I watched Krissa. So we're all in a circle. I vividly remember eating chips and dip. And they're like, girls, we have a new member today. Make her feel welcome. I'm like, okay, word. And she says, Alana, since you're new, I was hoping that you could introduce yourself and tell us your favorite part about Kit. I BS'd my way out of it with grace. I couldn't point Kit out of a lineup. Out of an American Girl doll lineup. I had no idea who this girl was. I didn't know her story at all. I forget, I said something like, her bravery really stood out to me and she has a really good heart. Just like literally can apply to pretty much any of the dolls, I'm pretty sure. And I finished my statement and they're clapping for me. They're clapping for me. I was like, no freaking way did I just lie to all these girls and they're applauding me right now. So yeah, that was the first meet. I have nothing else to say about that day. I do remember though, that being the first time that I ever felt like really excluded from something in my life. I ate on the steps with like the, I don't want to say outcasts of the group. Can you have outcasts at an American Girl doll book club? I think we all were the outcasts. They were just like the quieter kids that didn't talk or like interact with anyone. But the people on the steps were wearing chokers. So I was like, oh, that's kind of edgy. Like, this feels safe. So the next meet was the following week, I think, and this was the pool party. So I'm like, okay, now I have to catch up on an entire book and learn how to swim. But this was the day of the party. I got there and everyone was already swimming. So the host greeted me and like brought me to the backyard, and every single girl there is in the deep end. And in the shallow end is one of the girl's 6-year-old little sisters floating on those freaking unicorn floaties that I was so jealous of my whole childhood. So I was like, oh my gosh, do I risk my life right now and pretend that I can swim so I can fit in with these girls and play freaking mermaids with them in the deep end and drown? Or do I go swim with the 6-year-old? If this was me now, I'm going on the unicorn floaty, no questions asked, like, but when you're 9, 10 years old, you just want to feel included. So I went to the deep end and I just sat at the edge with my legs in. This random MF shoots up from the bottom of the water. I didn't even see her, in the quickest motion, and ties a hair tie around my ankles. And she was like, mermaids, mermaids, mermaid, because that's how you used to play mermaids. Like as kids, people would tie hair ties on their ankles together to mimic the mermaid tail, I guess. I didn't even have time to react, so now I'm in the deep end dangling with a hair tie restraining my leg movement. I guess the host noticed how uncomfortable I was because she like came over and was like, what's wrong? And I remember whispering to her, I was like, I can't swim. And she went into the house and she came back out with a life jacket and told me to stay in the shallow end. So I get in the shallow end with my freaking life vest, and the girl in the floaty goes, the 6-year-old, she goes, you can't swim? I thought you were 9. And no, I don't care that she was 6. Fix your attitude, because it's not giving the serve that you think it is. Kick rocks. Okay, sorry. So yeah.
Who is Alana? Who this TikToker got it poppin'? Educated, only 14.